Hey lovelies, so this week we're focusing on 5 ways to cleanse your crystals. So as I've previously said, crystals are balls of energy. We are full of energy and have a ball of energy around us, and it's really important that to be aware that that energy soaks things up. So like I've said to you before, when you walk into a room, your energy ball will be the first thing that enters the space. So whatever's going on in that space, you will start to soak up. Making sure your energy ball is strong enough means that you don't soak it up enough for it to affect you. It can kind of stay on the outside, but then you'll quickly cleanse it away and it's not going to seep down. Because when you think about your energy, if you imagine your physical body and you've got a big energy ball around you, there's lots of layers to get down to the physical body. So so say you walk into a room and someone's just had an argument and you can feel that tension. That tension will connect with your outer layer of your energy first and then work its way down through the layers before then it manifests in your physical body, which is why then you'll get symptoms of varying degrees depending on what's happened, depending on the build-up of the blockages. So that's really how it all works. So the idea is that you then get rid of this thing that you come into contact with when it's on the outer layer of your energy before it then seeps down into eventually your physical being. And that might happen over different amounts of time. There's no way of knowing how quickly that will happen. And often it's when there's been a build-up of blockages that then it has a bigger impact. But for example, if you walk into a room where there's been an argument and you can feel the tension, you then probably would want to, if you can, walk out of the room so that you're not then just soaking up that tension, because then you'll start to feel. Have you ever felt that? Like, you go somewhere, someone's in a really bad mood and you have to spend time with them. And then after a while, you can start to feel like, oh, now I feel in a bad mood, but I was fine. It's because you've soaked up their energy. It started to seep down through the layers of your energy. And then you're taking on that sensation. You don't want that to happen. Same thing with your crystals. So your crystals will be carrying them with you, placing them wherever, and then you may be thinking, actually, I've used this. So we'll take black obsidian. So I've had black obsidian by my Wi-Fi box because I wanted it to soak up the electromagnetic field. So you then need to regularly cleanse it so that it can soak up everything, it can release everything that it's soaked up, because it's like a sponge. So if it's soaking up all that energy, where's it going to go? Crystals will break. You may have experienced a crystal breaking. It's usually when there hasn't been any cleansing going on and the pressure has just meant that the crystals had to break to release the energy. So if you're using a crystal for you and it's soaking up the energy, you really need it to release that energy. So that you can do that by cleansing. So in the blog, I go through 5 ways to cleanse and the benefits of and what can happen if you don't cleanse. So example, one extreme thing might happen, that your crystal might break or it will disappear, because you'd be surprised by the amount of stories, I've experienced this myself, where you have a crystal and it just disappears and you think, where did it go? Because I put it here and it's not there. No one's moved it. Where's it gone? And then it'll reappear, and it really is that crystal needed time out to go and take a break, have a holiday, and then come back and be useful to you. And I know that sounds really kooky, but when you start working with crystals more closely, you will experience it and then go, you know what, Lana, that sounded really weird when you said that, but actually it just happened to me, I promise you. So my top favourite cleansing method is the full moon. Now, it is so powerful, the full moon. I really love the moon and I really feel impacted by the moon shifts. So I get difference in emotions around the full and the new moon. So that's another thing to be aware of. If you're feeling a little bit strange, you're not sure why, and you don't really think it's something to do with you, it could be that it is a moon shift and it's something to acknowledge. And even the police acknowledge that they get more 999 calls on a full moon. So if it can move tides, it can affect your emotions. Bear in mind, we're all energy, we're all connected. So we are going to be affected by these things. So a full moon is a really good way to cleanse your crystals. If you've got a space outside where your crystals can be out in the open under the full moon and they're not going to get moved by foxes or cats or anything else, then do that. But if it's a bit like, oh yeah, something will steal it or bury it or whatever, then put them on a windowsill with good moonlight, and it's fine. Through the glass it's fine. Leave it overnight. You've got the 3-day period, so you've got the full moon night and day either side, where you can get that real full moon cleanse. And by cleanse, it just effectively, like if you go back to the analogy of the black obsidian is like a sponge and it's soaking all the energy around it up, So you have a sponge, say an old-fashioned sponge, and you're in the shower and you're washing, and your sponge is soaking up water. You're not just going to keep washing with this sponge that's now full of water and really heavy, and the water's going to stay old, and then at the end of the shower you're going to leave it on the side still full of water, so then tomorrow when you come back to have another shower it's started to feel a bit weird because it's still full of water and potentially get a bit smelly because it's now stagnant water. You're going to wring it out. You're going to wring out the sponge to get rid of the water, probably as you're washing, and then after you've washed, so that the sponge is fresh. It's not got the old water stuck in there. It's fresh and it's ready to go again tomorrow. Same thing with your crystals. You don't necessarily need to cleanse your crystals every day, and I will be giving you a freebie this week to give you an indication of when to know when to cleanse crystals and how often. But if you imagine your crystal like a sponge, you need to cleanse the energy out of it so that it can just be like reset. So it's like recharging your phone, you know, so it goes back to a full battery. Same with the crystal. It's cleansing it, it's setting it back to sort of manufacturing basics or standard, whatever it's called, when obviously crystals are natural, so it's a natural basic. It's just getting rid of any of the energy that it's been collecting, because that can be negative energy because it's been soaking it up on your behalf, so that it's set back to its pure, magnificent ball of energy tone, so it can keep doing the work for you. Because the thing is, if you've got crystals around you and you're not cleansing them, you're not going to be getting the best out of them, and potentially you're going to then start soaking up the negativity. So if we give the whole, I know it's always a driving example, but I used to get really irritated when I was driving, as you can probably tell. I don't anymore, thankfully. So I have crystals in the car, calming crystals, safety crystals. I have like aquamarine in the car for safe travel, a rose quartz and an amethyst, just for the calming sensation in the car, because there's lots of annoying people out there sometimes, especially on a full moon. No one can drive on a full moon, jeez. So say there happened to be that I have crystals in the car, but you know what, I wasn't looking after my energy and I was really ratty and I hadn't been cleansing or looking after myself and taking care of myself and my self-love and keeping my energy tip-top and feeling good, and I did get really ratty and there was road rage. After that instant, I would then cleanse the crystals in the car, because they've then soaked up the energy because it's in that space, and you don't then want to get back in the car the next day and have that energy still lingering. Same with an argument. If you've had an argument and you've had crystals on you, or even just in your space, cleanse the space. Get rid of that energy. You don't need that anymore. It's been said, it's done. Yeah? Get rid of it. Neutralize it so you can start again. So it's really, really important to think of your crystals like sponges that soak up energy. You need to wring out the energy so that they can be fresh and work to their best ability for you again tomorrow, because you're going to rely on them like you did initially, but if you're not cleansing them, they can't be doing the stuff that you need to be doing for you. It really is a relationship. The more you put into your crystals, the more you connect with them, the more you get back, like any other relationship you have. So check out the blog. I'll give you the 4 other ways that you can cleanse your crystals. Which crystals to not, there's only like really one crystal you've got to be aware of. Some crystals do self-cleanse, but I like the ritual of cleansing, the focus on releasing and purifying and feeling fresh and starting again. So I'll go into more detail in the blog. I'll give you some ideas of the benefits of cleansing and what happens when you don't cleanse, and also you'll get your freebie that you can download to give an indication of what might happen and when you should be cleansing, so you can kind of get a better idea of where to start. Any questions, feel free to ding me an email, and make sure you sign up to the newsletter to get every week your tips and tricks on what to do with crystals. And if there's anything you want me to cover, just let me know. Until next time, guys.